It's time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by Adventure Cave Tours. Live a day in the life of a real adventurer with Adventure Cave Tours. And the Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Forhetz.
And it is Friday. We all made it to Friday. I think that's what we're celebrating. Hope a great weekend is ahead for everybody. But first, we'll do a little news.
All right. Gypsy Blancharde. I think most people remember that name. She's getting released early from prison on December 28th. So right after Christmas, the state granted her request for parole. To jog your memory, in case you don't remember, she is the young woman who pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in 2016 in the brutal stabbing death of her own mom, who was named Dee Dee, because Gypsy was mad because her mom forced her to use a wheelchair, even though she wasn't actually sick. Also, she forced her to undergo a lot of unnecessary medical treatment just so she could collect charitable donations because of Gypsy's so-called condition that she didn't actually have. So Gypsy met a guy online. They became boyfriend-girlfriend. Gypsy urged him to kill her mom, and apparently he did so. Nicholas Godejean was sentenced to life in prison at the time. She was sentenced to 10 years, but again, she is getting out early, December 28th.
That was such a crazy, unique story. I mean, it was a story around the world. Honestly, there were several documentaries on it. HBO did one, and you covered. You covered the story because we were out of town whenever this story broke. So we watched it from afar. We were in, I think, Colorado, and we watched it in disbelief because you had actually done stories with Gypsy and Dee Dee whenever they were getting houses and stuff, right? Habitat for Humanity?
It was Habitat for Humanity that built them a house, a nice house. They were claiming to be survivors of Hurricane Katrina. And so they moved up here from Louisiana right after Hurricane Katrina. And she was in a wheelchair, Gypsy. And it was interesting. My photographer at the time and his name was Travis. And we were over there and Travis said, that was the most rehearsed interview that we've ever conducted. I said, I know, that was really weird. Like, we discussed it at length in the car on the way back because you would ask.
Which interview, Dee Dee or Gypsy or both?
Gypsy, both. We interviewed both of them. But, anytime that I would direct a question at Gypsy, who at the time was very young, she was so polished that it was striking. She's like, I just want to be a role model for young girls and let them know that they can do anything. And this is my mom. And like, it was weird. It was just very, very strange. And Habitat for Humanity very graciously gave them so much, built them this house. It had a really cool ramp. And then fast forward, and then this happens. And my photog at the time, I mean, we remembered. I was like, I know that girl. I remember her. And we were able to look up the file story. And sure enough, it was her. It was the craziest thing. I think this is called Munchausen's
syndrome. Yeah.
Or Munchausen's by proxy syndrome or whatever. I can't remember the name of it because I'm not a psychologist.
Well, I mean, obviously the murder is horrific and was graphic and brutal. But so that is what it is. But the torment that Gypsy went through as she was growing up, being forced to act like she had these diseases,
like 24/7. 24/7.
It was sick. The whole thing was sick. It was a really shocking story all the way around. Got the attention of everybody because it was so shocking. And now it appears as though she'll be out this year.
Yeah. What a crazy story, man. All right. Now to this one. Springfield is getting nearly $6.4 million to improve its wastewater collection system. The money's coming from a $1.5 million grant and a $4.9 million loan, both from the State Department of Natural Resources. The improvements are intended to increase the city's capacity to handle heavy rain.
They
And
could
we do
use
get
that.
that from time to time.
We
Yes.
do, and sometimes on the roads, it's it doesn't clear off very quickly. So this will be good. Scary night for a group of middle school students from St. Louis. Listen to this. They spent the night lost in the woods of Echo Bluff State Park in Shannon County. 13 seventh graders went into the woods. They were led by 2 high school seniors to practice orienteering, interestingly enough. Didn't work out very well because they didn't return to camp before dark earlier this week. Search crews finally found them at about dawn the next morning. So it was a long night. No one was hurt. That's the good news. No one was hurt, and everybody's been reunited with their families. Imagine those parents.
I mean, I'm only laughing because it ended well. It would not be funny if it didn't end well. But like, why do they have 2 seniors leading orienteering who clearly don't know how to orienteer?
Well, obviously, somebody
I
thought
was
that
with
they
a
did.
former US Marine in a race that required lots of orienteering. We were 1 degree off, and 1 degree off in the woods is like a million miles away from your actual destination.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
Obviously,
why, but I didn't realize that they were led by 2 high school seniors. I saw that, but I didn't realize.
they won't be again, I bet.
Yeah, probably not.
I
Probably
bet they
not.
won't be again. Yeah.
Yeah,
All's well that ends well, I guess. It's quite a story that they'll have to tell.
it is.
And the parents are really relieved because that was scary.
Yeah, I'm glad that we, like, know the whole thing and that it ended well and that we didn't know at least I didn't know about this yesterday, and I feel good about that because that would have stressed me out all night long.
Yeah. Canine Batman is one of the newest additions to the Greene County Jail Canine team. The dog's name is Batman, about 2.5 years old, German Shepherd mix, as many of them are. In addition to his new position, Batman also is now featured on some Greene County jail merchandise that you're able to buy
Yeah.
if you choose to.
All right, Mr. Foreheads, by the way, page 2.
Oh, did I skip a page? Oh, I did.
You
I put them in
did.
the
You
wrong
did.
order.
Yeah, it's
All
okay.
right.
We can still be
Well,
friends.
there are new requirements for SNAP benefits that begin on Sunday. SNAP, as you know, provides food for low income families. And during COVID, work requirements for SNAP were put on hold. That's been a while. They will resume October 1st. Recipients will once again have to show proof of work or at least job training in order to keep receiving taxpayer paid benefits.
Right. All right, 41 years old and expanding. That's exciting. Citizens Memorial Hospital in Bolivar is celebrating its birthday, 41-year birthday, with a big expansion that will essentially double the size of the current hospital. Patients will see an expanded emergency department, ICU, among many other services. The work begins in early 2024, so here in a few months, and then it should be wrapping up around the fall of 2026. So
All right,
good job for CMH.
it's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, Rogersville is getting a new license office. That's great news because you have to wait a long time often at license offices. So that's kind of cool. It opens next Wednesday on Front Street. The Chamber of Commerce will run the office after winning the contract this summer. So it's always interesting, with license offices. I don't think I knew that until I worked in news, which is that so often a different entity runs that, like other than the state.
Well,
Such as, yeah,
that's only been in Missouri that I've ever known that to be true.
yeah,
So it's a unique deal here, I think.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Chamber of Commerce, it looks like, will be running the one in Rogersville. All right, perhaps it is high interest rates or something like that, but realtors nationally report that pending home sales are down. July home sales fell short of the hopes and expectations. Analysts say that it suggests would-be home buyers could be turned off, perhaps by high interest rates. They are sitting at a 20-year record high.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Don't move if you don't have to. Hey, it is now officially Missouri Good Neighbor Week, which is interesting. It started yesterday. It runs through next Wednesday. Good Neighbor Week, in case you don't know, and most of you don't, encourages citizens of Missouri to participate in events and activities to establish connections with their neighbors. We just got some new neighbors what, a week ago?
Yeah,
We
about a
took
week ago
them,
from Sioux Falls. Is that what they said? Sioux Falls.
yeah, from
I remember their
South
names, and now
Dakota.
I can't remember where they're from. Yeah, Sioux Falls, I think.
South Dakota, and we took them some bread as a housewarming gift. So
Ethan is a good neighbor.
hope they
Ethan
like
took them
bread.
some bread. I showed up, but he went out and he purchased it from Neighbor's Mill, which was a
I did.
neighborly thing to do. Neighbor's
Yeah.
Mill. I
Yeah.
see what you did there. Neighbors. Anyway, you are a good neighbor, sir.
The goal of the what is it called? The Good Neighbor Week this year is to document 15,000 acts of neighboring inside the state of Missouri. You can find out more and you can document this good neighboring at goodneighborweek.com.
Okay. There you go. You
Yeah.
got the first point. All right. We all know that Nixa and Ozark love to compete against each other. For the fourth straight year, they are competing to give the most blood. The rival cities teamed up with the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks and organized a friendly competition to see which one could win and recruit the most donors. So that's a really cool idea. I know that they had a big blood drive at the First Baptist Church in Ozark. And to be honest with you, I don't have totals for you. That's a bummer. I meant to look up those and I didn't. So I'm sorry. So you got the story without the payoff. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, I mean,
Now you're
I
going to have to
wouldn't.
go Google.
I don't think it's over yet, right? They're still
I think it
doing
was just the one day. It was just the one day, wasn't it? My
I don't
understanding
know.
what is that it was one day a couple days ago. You
Okay.
keep talking. You keep talking and I'm going to look.
No, I
Okay.
don't think it's worth that, honestly. People can figure out if they want to.
Okay.
Let's move on. About the custard shop. There's a new Italian ice shop opening in Springfield. Today's grand opening day, by the way.
Okay,
It
that's
is
awesome.
Yeah, it's Rita's, located on Republic Road, just west of Kansas Expressway, where a lot of stuff is now. And this is interesting, very cool. For its grand opening, it is donating 20% of sales to Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the Ozarks. And then, this is the part that you really want to hear. Starting at 3 p.m. later today, the first 50 customers will get free Rita's Italian ice for a year.
What,
It's
for a
kind of like
year?
what Chick-fil-A does, isn't it? They do that
Yeah.
and they have people camping out for Chick-fil-A for a year. Well, Rita's Italian ice and custard is doing that. The first 50 people in line with a purchase will get a year's supply of Italian ice for free.
That's really cool. That's
That
really
ain't
cool.
bad.
Yeah, that ain't
That's a
bad.
way to get some buzz, I tell you that. Good for them.
So it's sort of like I guess maybe it's different than Italian ice, but I saw a new restaurant in Ozark the other day called Springfield's Acai Bowl, and it's right across the street from Lambert's.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
familiar?
Well, I know that strip mall by B29.
Yeah, kind of by B29, closer to the gas station, the Bullseye gas station right there. But yeah, I was like, hey, I hadn't seen that yet. And we so often like to find, new businesses to do stories on coming to town. So I was like, hey, that's a cool one. And we missed it. But I'm reporting on it right now because I saw it, drove by it. So there it is. All right. Back to the Ozark versus Nixa blood drive. You're right, sir. It's still underway and it goes throughout the week. So that means today's the day that it's going to wrap up. So you got to let them know, like Ethan said, which one you're supporting, either Ozark or Nixa. But this is their yearly competition and a great way to drum up community support because we all know that Nixa does not like to lose to Ozark and Ozark does not like to lose to Nixa in anything. So it's good.
Good enough.
Yeah.
All right,
Year
we're gonna
number
have
4.
90s over the weekend, so we're still in the 90s. I'm looking at the 7-day here, and it's all 90s, which is weird for this time of
Oh
year.
man.
You can
Wow.
find out a lot more with Wake Up Weather with Abby Dyer, exactly where you find this podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Have a
See ya.
great weekend. We'll see you
Bye.
Monday.